What is happening, Magnus sites? Marvel commits Mary suicide, and the fans are to blame. I can't talk. And the fans are to blame. Let's see about that.
You know, it comes down to the cast, and with Jonathan Majors, who I think took over the Hall H stage, you know, in the 3 minutes he was up there. It's amazing. And I said to him, there's nobody I would rather be, nobody's shoulders I'd rather be putting the Multiverse Saga on than his.
Okay.
It was amazing to work on a film with 3 lady heroes, a badass lady villain, and many, many lady department heads.
I need a shot at those glasses again. Where's she at? I need those glasses. I need to see those glasses
lady
again.
Heroes, a badass lady villain, and many, many lady department heads.
Holy mackerel! Those are some super... There's 2 pair! There's a pair on her head and a pair on her face! Well, she has a very interesting style. That's Elton John times 2! Wow. Well, at least it's all matching and coordinated. Let's keep on going here. Oh, the musician too! This composer! That's a musician's outfit. Musicians and other artists usually got wild ways of dressing. Not all of them. But like when you see an outfit like that, it's okay. What art are you involved in? Are you a painter? Are you a musician? Well, what is it?
That's female producer, female director. It was pretty great.
Would you go be up for a sequel? Absolutely, but that's up to...
You know what's so funny? Like, that headline says the most predictable disaster. And it really, really was. That, Madam Web, a whole lot of other stuff that they've done. Echo, the upcoming Acolyte, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, you know, I just get so jumbled thinking about all these movies, but in series, it's just like, you know how they're going to tell the story, and you know what they're going to focus on. And the majority of the time, like what, 99% of the time, when television shows and movies, video games go in that direction, they die. They just plummet, fall off a cliff, they tank, they flop, and they're still putting the stuff out like, yeah, it's gonna work. It's gonna be great. There's gonna be right.
To the Sony gods.
The Sony gods!
nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, you over 980,000 awakening wonders in the form.
Almost there, man.
Subscribed yet? It was the great Albert Einstein who once said,
Get over there and subscribe to him. Tell him Tyrone Magnus sent you. Tyrone Magnus says he's gonna get to 1 million before the year's over.
I'm going to paraphrase here, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
See?
Expecting different results.
See?
Marvel Studios is taking
Insanity.
a strategy following the poor performance of the Marvels. Psych!
Well, on the surface, it would seem that our friends over at Disney Marvel have finally come to their senses, or at least that's what they want you to believe. Because we're starting to hear terms from the access media like retooling, or stepping back to focus on stronger franchises. Well, far be it from me to kick a giant billion-dollar multinational corporation when it's down. Oh, who am I kidding? I love doing it. Let's see how Disney Marvel plans to completely retool the MCU with this.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Spoke about this before. It doesn't matter what they focus on if it's not focusing on throwing the woke out. You throw the woke out and you get back to doing what made you a multi-billion-dollar movie-making machine, then you'll be fine. You do the same garbage, no matter what you tell us about, we're going to focus on the more strong franchises. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're not going to focus on volume, only quality. It's not going to matter. It will not matter. You know it, and I know it, Disney. You know I'm a fan. You know I always speak the truth. And I'm nice to you, too. You know what I mean? Some of these other YouTubers out there is tearing you new a-holes with the way they talk about you. I'm always nice, okay? Worked with you in the past on brand deals and other types of deals. And, you know, you were good people to work with. You gotta stop this and start listening to the fans, or it's gonna get worse. It'd be insane to find out that Disney went bankrupt or folded or was bought out by somebody else because of these bad decisions. Take it away, nerdrotic.
The same tools who created the problem. But first, let's check in on Marvel's Madam Web's box office numbers. Domestically, it's earned just over $35 million with an international box office of just over $42 million, bringing in a grand total of just over $77 million. That's right, this film might not make $100 million worldwide. And at time of recording, the film has only been out 13 days, and on its second weekend, it averaged per theater $403 for Friday, $666 for Saturday, and $405 for Sunday, pulling in a grand total of $6 million for its second weekend.
I think you're gonna see it twice.
Oh, and I can hear the Disney Marvel corporate stance now.
Like how she said that, though. Dakota has a sexy voice, sexy whispery voice. I think you're gonna see it twice. Maybe I will, Dakota. If it's good!
Madam Web is a Sony picture. It doesn't have anything to do with Marvel. I mean, aside from Madam Web, all the Spider-Women, Ben Parker, Mary Parker, and Ezekiel being Marvel characters in the Marvel Studios banner before the film, sure. And as I pointed out in my Madam Web review, both Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney thought it was a Marvel Studios production.
I forgive you.
The fact of the matter is, most normies can't tell the difference, and quite frankly, the people who watch this stuff a lot can't tell the difference, like yours truly. Tell me, is the Marvels better than Madam Web? No. The lines have been blurred and the brand damage has been done. Still, it's no secret Disney Marvel hates Sony Marvel productions outside of Spider.
That's true. I still would rather watch Madam Web than the Marvels. And Madam Web might be arguably the worst movie. Wonder why. Isn't that weird sometimes? You know, there's like a movie that's maybe not as good as another movie, but you still rather watch that.
Spider-Man for precisely this reason. From the Hollywood Reporter inside Sony's Madam Web collapse, forget about a new franchise. The fact that they thought they could get a new franchise tells you how stupid people in Hollywood are. The flop is wiping out an entire...
Hey, yo, you know what? Thank you, Nerdrotic, for saying that. You know, I always think that to myself. I'm like, do they truly think that these things are going to work? Or are they forced to try it out for this whole new DEI thing that's going on in Hollywood? Is it that? Is it the whole Sweet Baby Inc. DEI? All that stuff? To where you're like forced to go in that direction because the Hollywood machine is going in that direction, and you know it's not going to work, but you hire plenty of actors to talk like it's going to be great, and you act like it's going to be great, even though you know it's not going to be great in your gut. Your gut is one of the best compasses you can use, okay? Hollywooders, you know it and I know it. You get that little, that bad feeling in your gut. That means, no, don't do it.
plan for a new movie series as the studio becomes the latest superhero studio in need of a pivot. How exactly do all of these monolithic corporations that require 6 meetings just to have a meeting, who all have their cinematic universe release dates planned out for years and coordinated to boost quarterly earnings, pivot? Don't know. The trailer buzz was worrisome. Advanced ticket sales anemic. Then last week, the critic reviews for Madam Web were posted, and they stung deepest of all. Sony's Spider-Man spin-off received the lowest average Rotten Tomatoes score, 13%, and it's still there at time of recording, of any major superhero film in nearly a decade. Just a reminder, not that you need it, but I'm gonna do it anyway because it's fun.
And I went to see Madam Web by myself. I live with my girlfriend. She's a woman. And when I asked her, hey, because she had something to do that day, I said, you want to go see Madam Web? And she was like, I was like, all right, handle that. I'll go and see this early and get it out the way. I went to the earliest viewing. I went to see it, and I couldn't wait to get out of the theater. I couldn't wait. I don't know if it was like probably maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and I was ready to leave. So, even women are not interested in it. But the men who are the fandom that built you, we're the ones trying to support you, giving it a shot, and it's not working. Get back to business.
It was just over 4 months ago, the Marvels dropped and became the MCU's biggest flop in its herstory. Then Disney and Hulu blocked the trail of Tears with Echo, which had, unsurprisingly, abysmal ratings despite being
so simple
on
yet
2
effective
streaming
joke.
services and being released all at once. I have a question. If a show drops on 2 streaming services yet nobody watches it, does it make a sound? Anyway, back to the article. On Wednesday night, you could actually watch Madam Web's advanced purchase sales declining in real time as buyers were refunding their tickets. Marvel's a major theatrical chain executive.
Yeah, I think Nerdrotic may have been one of the people that posted the picture of the empty theater they were in. I can't remember if I did when the Captain Marvel came out, because I think he did. If it wasn't him, I know a few other people did. And I remember telling y'all it was empty. It's the same thing here. It was me, it was a guy to my left, and it was a couple way up in the last row. That's it. It was 4 people in the theater.
Really says something when you'd rather have Shazam 2 numbers. And what's really sad is the last calendar year has been so bad.
I almost forgot about Blue Beetle. I literally almost forgot about it. Well, yeah, Blue Beetle came out.
As for superhero films that I completely forgot about Shazam 2. And
Yo, you know what's so funny about that? Like they brought that out. Okay, so he's Mexican, correct? And his uncle, which was funny, but his uncle's truck was named a Taco. That'd be like me being in a movie, all black family, naming my car or truck the Bucket of Chicken. You know how stereotypical that is? Like, and then people expect Mexican folks to just pick up and want to go. Wait, what? He called his truck the Taco. They do these dumb stereotypical things and have us do stereotypical stuff, and you think we're just supposed to be interested in it just because you've got our color or ethnicity in these movies. It doesn't make no sense. Like, it makes me think of, just offhand, it's a new character. Like, Street Fighter 6 has the black girl. And what does she like to do? She likes graffiti and she likes to dance with her headphones on. How stereotypical is that of black people? We love to dance and we love graffiti.
again, the thing that particularly gets under the fur of the rat in Burbank, and quite frankly Hollywood overall, is sentences like these. Like DC and the once unstoppable Disney Marvel, Sony is now finding itself under the gun to reevaluate how it makes comic book movies. Just in case you're scoring at home, the Access Media has now used the words reevaluate and pivot to avoid stating the obvious. Madam Web joins a troubling trend for the superhero genre. Every live-action comic book movie last year underperformed, aside from Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Regardless of studio, superhero fatigue has evolved from a term used by some corners of fandom to something reluctantly accepted as industry fact. There'll always be a giant market for men and women in tights, but superhero fatigue does exist within Hollywood. Unfortunately for Tinseltown, within its shrinking customer base, there's Hollywood fatigue. Is this the portion of the art?
Yeah. See, Hollywood is calling it superhero fatigue. We know what it really is. It's woke fatigue. It's bad movie fatigue. It's garbage content fatigue. That's what it is. You're putting out movies we don't want. That's the fatigue. We're tired of going to see movies we don't want to see. We are fatigued out of our skulls going to see movies we don't want to see. That's what it is. And you've transferred the fatigue not only to superhero movies, but to all movies, to video games, to comic books, to cartoon series, to television series. We're woked the F out. We're so fatigued of all of this. It is so tiring. I used to be so excited to hear that Disney was coming out with something new, Marvel related or Star Wars related. No more. Now I'm always, what are they going to do now? What are they going to destroy now? That's how I feel. I'm always bite my nail like Scooby-Doo. And you see them flying everywhere, worried about what other thing they're going to kill off.
Article where they blame the fans? Well, yeah, kinda. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Sony and director S.J. Clarkson took a wise approach with Madam Web. When there are capes and cows on every metropolis corner, doesn't it make sense to avoid the usual tropes and try for a more grounded-feeling superhero thriller with low-key charm, and moreover, make a superhero movie for women and young girls? Sure. Except it didn't work. I don't know if women are enough to carry the box office here. Really. One veteran studio source outside of Sony says, indeed, males make up 65% to 70% of the superhero audience in North America. That hasn't changed, and it will not change. In the case of Madam Web, the percentage of female viewers was still...
And you know what? Someone made a really good point. I said, whenever we've been to movie theaters and, it was packed and you see the women there, the women are always there with their husbands or boyfriends or brother. They're never there by themselves. I've never seen a woman there by themselves, except me. I'm sure there are women that go there by themselves, though. They're the far outliers. I only remember going to see, when I got in the theater and I would see women by themselves, it was when I would get invited to screeners. When Disney invited me to screeners, I would go to the theater and I would be in there. There's a bunch of other journalists and stuff, people that review, and I would see women journalists by themselves sitting. But that was it. When I would go and watch it, though with friends or with a girlfriend or by myself, there was never, ever a woman sitting by herself or 3 or 4 girls by themselves. Guess what? Guess when I did see women, a bunch of women by themselves or with all their friends watching a movie? Barbie. For women, by women, written for women, all that good stuff. Stop trying to change the MCU into something that's female fandom, because it's not. They're part of it, but they're not the majority of it.
Only 46%. You heard that right. Madam Web failed because of women. Just like with its cinematic predecessor,
If you have not seen that movie, I suggest you watch it late at night by yourself. I think it's called like Summertime or Summer. Yeah, y'all, someone will say it in the comments. Wait till you see that part, why they're all crying like that.
Marvel's the film made by women, starring women, for women wasn't watched by any women. And unfortunately for Disney Marvel, Disney Sony, Warner Brothers, and Hollywood overall, and let's not forget the theaters, it's become painfully clear now that the access media is piling on that the cash cow that was the superhero film has been milked dry. Or maybe in this case, the bull's been milked dry. Again, from the Hollywood Reporter, how Marvel is quietly retooling, there's another word, avoiding stating the obvious, amid superhero fatigue. You call it superhero fatigue, I call it a self-inflicted mortal wound, but let's not argue right now.
Yeah.
The studio's golden box office aura...
You damn right it's self-inflicted. You know what? This whole thing, there's a page that I follow on Twitter called F Around and Find Out. This is a whole, this whole thing that's been happening is a one huge F around and find out. Target found out. Bud Light found out. Disney found out. Bunch of other companies have found out and are continuing to find out what it means to go woke and then go broke. It's a damn shame that they had to do it. Why can't they just sell their product without getting political? It's so easy to stay out and just sell a great product. That's it. Leave all the politicizing up to the politicians. But no, you want to jump in. Damn virtue signaling.
Dented. It has been pulverized into dust. But Chief Architect Kevin Feige isn't scrapping his years-long cinematic universe plan, just refining it. Oh, really? They're not going to give up, says an insider. No, and they're going to fail. And let's keep in mind, Disney, Marvel, and Hollywood just finished the year of the flopbuster, where the Hollywood Reporter even admits that Ant-Man heralded in a year's worth of missteps, box office blunders, and PR nightmares. And they continue because one of those PR nightmares is Madam Web. That's why Disney Marvel was forced to announce the casting of the Fantastic Four on the day Madam Web was released, and a day later released the X-Men 97 trailer.
A lot of people were saying
and this brings the Hollywood
that.
Reporter to the brilliant conclusion that Disney Marvel had a good February.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
What? And no, I'm not kidding. But the Disney division is in the midst of a pretty darn good February, all things considered, despite the general gloom that surrounds the superhero genre as of late. And how do they come to this brilliant conclusion? By exposing Disney for its lies and saying it's a good thing. Disney reported that the Deadpool and Wolverine Super Bowl trailer was the most watched trailer of all time, except it wasn't.
I heard that they used the Super Bowl numbers. That's not right. If that's what he's about to say, I heard that they used the Super Bowl numbers. That means the amount of people that watched the Super Bowl and tacked it on to that. Say, come on now.
According to Disney, the trailer garnered 365 million views in 24 hours. Yes, Disney's math includes 123 million people who tuned in for the game, which included just 30 seconds of the trailer. But Super Bowl fudging or not, the clip's reach was an encouraging number. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't think lying about success makes you successful. That's what Bob Iger's Disney does. They'll wave a lot of surface-level stuff at you, like a Taylor Swift, or even announce a Fortnite deal, which may or may not happen in the next 5 years to impress investors, or lie about a Deadpool Wolverine trailer, because quite frankly, people fall for it. Low information investors are becoming just as bad as low information voters for this country. Again, to state the obvious, all Disney does these days with Marvel and Star Wars is announce things. Rarely do they follow through these public-facing moves, because that's all they are, as studio boss Kevin Feige recalibrates the creative direction behind the scenes. Again, for those of you scoring...
That's so funny. Recalibrates, retold, pivot. What's the other one? He's going to tell us, though.
At home, we've heard pivot, reevaluate, retooling, and recalibrate. And don't call it a reboot, even though they're hitting every word in the thesaurus. What it actually is is an admission of failure because it's a massive course correction.
Houston, we have a problem.
In this article, they're actually bragging that there weren't that many reshoots with Agatha, whatever the hell it's called, completely ignoring the fact that there's an entire film, Black Falcon, Captain America, and an entire TV show, Daredevil, being reshot as we speak. And let's not get too excited about the Fantastic Four, where, to be fair, the casting could have been much worse, but it's still going to be a daunting task to convince anyone Pedro Pascal is the smartest man alive.
You ever look at Instagram accounts devoted to you being
Task to convince anyone Pedro Pascal.
So it's always killed me. I don't know if I like this or not. You see how women are doing the whole thing with the eyebrows? See how they're like brushed up? I don't know if I like that or not. I've seen that on good-looking women. Doesn't look too bad on her. I'm just spitballing right now, but, you know, I talk about what I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about her eyebrows. You guys like that look or not? Let me know.
Pascal is the smartest man alive.
You ever look at Instagram accounts devoted to you being a heartthrob when you're feeling down?
Yes, I do. That film is currently on its third rewrite or script polishing from Eric Pearson, famous for Thor
like Boyka
Ragnarok and Black Widow, and has the reputation for taking projects over the finish line. In other words, he was hired because he can finish things. Wow. And the Thunderbolts film, which is apparently still happening, has hired Joanna Cola, the showrunner of acclaimed FX series The Bear. She was also the producer on a show called Girl Boss. She also has no real genre experience, which would make her perfect for current year Disney Marvel, and more proof they have no intention of changing. And then The Hollywood Reporter and Disney Marvel say the quiet part out loud about the strikes. The dual writers and actors strike, while costly to Hollywood, ironically gave Marvel some breathing space. Haha, suckers. It was able to reschedule its movies so that only Deadpool and Wolverine will be released in 2024. Only 2 series, Echo and Agatha, are bowing on Disney Plus this year. So instead of making a bunch of shit, they're just spreading it out. Execs are not calling it a reboot. How dare you even suggest it? Not even a soft.
That's what I was saying, you know, spreading stuff out and all that, that's not going to help if you're going to do the same stuff. It's just going to be crap again, just less often. That's it. You'd be a constipated movie studio rather than a one with diarrhea.
One, but more of a creative retooling. A retooling by tools, and it's only because they were forced to do so, because guess what? It's all your fault. This comes from our friend Christian Toto from Hollywood and Toto. Disney exec blames woes on racist, sexist fans. Newsletter reveals corporate arrogance behind Mouse House's fall. Bulwark Culture editor Sonny Bunch shared a snippet from a recent Punk newsletter suggesting Team Disney isn't about to change its ways. Again, this comes from an anonymous Disney executive. Everyone says it's the movies, stupid.
They're gonna keep finding out.
Thing for people to say. More appealing movies are a great way to jump the political issues. But more and more, our audience, or the segment of the audience that's been politicized, equate the perceived messaging in a film as a quality issue. To state the obvious, it's not the audience that's been politicized, it's the art and the beloved intellectual properties that have been propaganda.
They strayed so far away from who she really is ridiculous. I watched a few different videos that talked about Echo. It'd been really cool too if she had had to print on her eye toe, but of course not.
Making the obvious messaging a quality issue because everything is shit. I digress. They won't say they find female empowerment distasteful in the Marvels or Star Wars, the latest trilogy starring Daisy Ridley, but they will say they don't like those movies because they are quote-unquote bad. So, quote-unquote make movies better becomes code or a dog whistle for quote-unquote make movies that conform to regressive gender stereotypes or put men front and center in the narrative, which is what you're seeing now and what Bob Iger's pivot is about right now. It's too bad. Everyone would understand Disney Marvel's greatness over the last couple of years if it wasn't for all...
I hate this so much. Like, I won't even look at it. Whenever someone shows it in a video, I won't even look at it because it, first of all, it looks like a man twerking. And I don't want a man twerking in my face. I don't know who they got to do this, but this like this. Something about the way it looks. I just don't need muscular man butt and thighs flapping in my face. You know what I'm saying? And what's women and female empowerment and all this respecting women, and you got them clapping their butt cheeks, twerking in our faces. That's degrading, isn't it? So why, whatever. As long as women, I guess it's okay, right?
Girl boss is now a pejorative, and the MCU is now in the cultural zeitgeist, and Disney's idea of female empowerment has set it back to the 50s. But I think this provides us with another great opportunity to remind everyone who works in the industrial, corporate, Hollywood entertainment complex community, and the corporate shill community, whose fault this really is. Yours. The fans didn't write the Marvels. The fans didn't greenlight Lego. The fans didn't turn Star Wars and Marvel into global brands. The fans didn't decide to wade into identity politics. The fans didn't decide to...
Senator, you need to do better.
Bypass decades of great storytelling in the source material that sold in the hundreds of thousands to jump into the worst era of storytelling in comic book history that sold in the thousands. The fans certainly didn't come up with the term toxic fandom.
That's right.
The fans didn't make the decision to kill off or completely vandalize the beloved characters.
That's
the fans didn't put a chick in it and make her lame and gay.
That's right.
But the one thing you can pin on the fans, they were right.
Yep.
So while Disney Marvel spends the next 3 or 4 years retooling, reevaluating, recalibrating, but definitely not rebooting, the fans will have long since pivoted away from you. Hell, things have gotten so bad, even the queen of the MCU, Brie Larson, is out.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about Marvel and what's coming up for you, your next Marvel project. I don't have anything to say about that.
The term "you can't unmake the soup" does not do this problem justice. I think it's more applicable to say you can't uncrap the poop. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening.
Put it right back in
I'll
there.
see you in the next video.
nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
Good job, Nerdrotic. Good job, man. You know, it's just horrible. Just horrible. Predicament that they put themselves in. Well, hopefully it's over. Hopefully we see the last dripping pieces of doo-doo come out this year that they've got left over that they're not going to scrap, but they're just going to push out. Okay, fine. And then by 2025, everything will be good again. That's what I hope is happening. The video game industry is finding out, just like the beer industry is finding out, just like the retail industry is finding out, just like the movie industry is finding out. They're all finding out this was a real bad, dark, scary, unsuccessful road to go down. So hopefully everybody gets their act together and we can get back to great entertainment. 10 million subscribers. Woo!